is the glory,
but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing races.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the standalone interview of Moritz Lautenbach. Now, I know a lot of you might not know who he is. I will explain a little bit more about Moritz after this intro, but it's a great interview with a very smart young man. I think you're all going to like it. But before we do that, I want to say a big shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, none of this is possible. I hope you guys are liking this little shorter form content. It allows me to give you guys content while I'm on the road traveling and whatnot. But yes, thank you for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for smashing that like, that sub notification button. Help us get to 7,000 subs. Help us get to 10,000 subs. That's the ultimate goal. Obviously, we want to get more than 10,000, but 10,000 is the goal right now. We greatly appreciate you guys supporting. Every sub makes a big difference. If you're listening to us on the audio side of things, come over and hit that sub like notification button on the YouTube button. I know a lot of people don't like to watch podcasts, but it definitely helps us out. And we're definitely obviously focusing more on the YouTube side of things, but also on the audio side, leave us a review. We greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to the patrons of the NNRC. We can't do this without you guys. Thank you for all the continued support. And if you wish to support the NNRC a little bit further, you can financially. And we greatly appreciate it. It helps us out. It definitely helps keep things going. You can do that via the NNRC Patreon or YouTube membership. We have links for that in the written description, as well as links for all of these companies that support us. We have affiliate links. We have coupon codes that can save you some money. Just let them know you heard about us, heard about them on the No Name RC podcast. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Hot Race Tires, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, and Get Shit Done Coffee. Don't forget to get yourself some of that. It definitely helps us out. We also have affiliate links for some of our other companies like Call RC and all these cool companies in here that you can save some money. We greatly appreciate it. A big shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalk, Robert Badier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, Peku Ivanen, Una Hutton, and Mason Fuller. And a big shout out to all of RC out there. We greatly appreciate it. So Moritz Lautenbach. So Moritz and I recorded this podcast quite some time ago. Recorded, I think, prior to me going to the Florida Carpet Championships. I told him it's going to be some time before it came out. I wasn't planning on being this long. Since that time, Moritz is actually not driving for S-Works no more. He's now driving for X-Ray. Moritz is the son of Jurgen Lautenbach, the owner of LRP. And he's a very smart gentleman. He's still in school. He told me about quantum computers and quantum physics. If him and Max got together, the science nerd that will come out of them would be incredible. And he's a very smart guy. He loves RC. He's doing RC. I see he also traveled down to Mumbai, India. I know a few people that have been to it. It's like a big tech fest. I get invites to it too, but I never go. And it's unfortunate. I'll have to have Moritz on her for catch up after we do this sometime later on this year. I do apologize, Moritz, for this taking so long to come out, but I think it was such a good interview. And it was one of those interviews that surprised me. I thought it was going to be very, very kind of like talking to Max in science mode, but it was very interesting. And I found out what a quantum computer was, the history of LRP. And this young man is a very smart man. Well done to Jurgen for raising a smart gentleman. And thank you, Moritz, for your time. And I do apologize that this took so long, but here we go. Our standalone interview of Moritz Lautenbach, the son of Jurgen Lautenbach, the owner of LRP. Joining me in the virtual studio is a gentleman that I know a lot of people probably don't know who he is, but I had the pleasure of meeting him last year, as he reminded me, at the Florida Carpet Champs, which I'm absolutely looking forward to going to here in a few weeks, actually. Is the son of Jurgen Lautenbach, I think that's how you say it, the owner of LRP Electronics. Moritz, what's up, Moritz? How are you?
Hi, Keenan. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling. Are you going to Florida next month?
Yes, it's planned. I'm not on the sign-up list yet, but I will do it. It wasn't quite sure if I can come because of university, but it's looking really good, so I will do it again.
I love that race. Absolutely love that race.
It's amazing. Maybe the best carpet race in the world. I've done a few of the big ones. EOS Down, I think, is super good. But Florida, the track is great. All the people are really nice, and last year was fantastic.
Yeah, I love it there. I've been twice. I'm looking forward to going. I call it the carpet world because it's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So Moritz, tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? At university, I know you're still in university. You are
21.
one of the. You're 21. Okay, so you're still a young man, but you're European. Europeans seem to be 21, but really like 28. You know, Max is 24, but he's 55. He knows everything. So, good stuff, man. You are also one of the I think this is rare nowadays, but one of the sons that are following in his father's footsteps to an extent. You've been taking a lot more active role in LRP. You're also a racer, so you do race as well. You guys are from Austria, right? As well?
Germany.
Okay, I'm
Germany
sorry.
is where we are from, but I live in Austria, so probably I told you this.
Okay, that's what it is. See, I get now the conversations are coming back to me. That's what happens. I have so many. So you're in Austria. You're there in university.
Yes, I study in Innsbruck, Austria. Yes.
What are you studying?
Physics. I have one semester left in my bachelor's degree, and then I'm gonna do my master. Yeah, that's what I do.
What is the end goal to be in physics? What do you want to do?
The good thing about physics is that you can do so much with it. So I did a 2-month internship this summer at Max Planck Institute for Extraterrestrial Physics. So this was experimental astrophysics. So we looked at active galaxies and how these big black holes in the middle, how they shape the galaxy's dynamics. So this was quite cool. Quantum computing is something I'm interested in. So if I go into physics, it's going to be something of these two probably. The other alternative is I do LRP, and hopefully I learn something for this in my physics education.
Well, I have no idea what quantum computers is, and if you can tell me what's going on in outer space through physics, I think those pay a lot more than RC.
I think RC can pay quite well as well, if you do it correctly and you're at the right spot in the right time.
There is money to be made in RC. There is money to be made. I have no idea what quantum computers is. Can you just break that down for an idiot like me, please?
Yes. A normal computer has 0 and 1. So the transistor is either on or off. So in a quantum computer, it can be on, off, and you can entangle 2 of these bits. So you get a lot more computational power. I don't know if you know what quantum entanglement is. It's a property of quantum mechanics that is quite weird. So it basically, you can connect particles like electrons really far away. And if you measure one, the other one reacts instantaneously, no matter how far it is away. And basically you use this, and by this you can get much, much higher levels of computation, of the ability of what you can compute. So for example, if I want to see a list of the best RC car podcasts, and it has 1,000 different ones in it, then a normal computer would start at 1 and go all the way through, and then it would at some point maybe find the no-name RC podcast if I search for it in the list. A quantum computer can basically look at all of them at once. So it's just much quicker.
Got you. Much more efficient. I understand why. I don't understand how. I understand why. Dude, you just probably went into the ultimate science mode we've ever had on this podcast. If Max was here right now, this would have turned into a 30-minute discussion. I know.
Cool.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I do actually listen to him sometimes when he gets into science mode. Sometimes. But yeah, sweet. So I guess did your love for all this start with LRP? Like, did you grow up around that type of stuff with your dad?
I think it's not really related. A friend of my dad, he gave me when I was 12 or 13 a book of Stephen Hawking for Christmas. And I think at the time it was probably a bit too early. But I read it and I liked it and I got into it. And with YouTube, there is so much really good content on, and I started watching it. And then after I finished school at 18, I thought, what am I gonna do? And then physics had the two actual benefits that it's interesting and it will pay you well if you finish it. So I started it and liked it and continued doing it.
Awesome. It has now obviously there's lots of physics in RC racing. Now, how do you apply what you learned to that? Now I'm getting into science, man. So let's switch it over to what we're here about, RC and your racing. How is your physics helping you out?
It helps a lot to understand stuff like roll centers, what actual kinematics work, like how the arms are, how the forces apply. To be fair, the best thing for this is the Invisible Speed book. I don't know about the course, but the book is so good. If I had this when I was 13, I would have saved 2 or 3 years of learning, at least.
Really?
It has everything what you need to know.
And this is coming from a physics major person. You know, it's funny because it is I haven't read it, but I've listened to what JQ said so much, right? And I think that instead of probably spending money, the book probably costs like $100 if you order from him. It's maybe cheaper in America.
I think I bought it and it was 70 euros or something.
Yeah, I have heard nobody say anything that they dislike it. Like people use it as a buy. People, knowledge is there, right? This is the thing. Joe Rogan said this. He says knowledge right now is like music was in the 60s. So he said in the 60s, there was like a really big musical revolution. Everybody was doing all this type of crazy music and it was like a free form of expression and learning and knowledge, because knowledge is like that now because it's at the fingertips of everybody, right? With a computer. And when you can, people have to, that book right up there, that's up there, right there. That's a lot of knowledge. That's 20 years of knowledge in RC and trial and error in a format that people can understand, everybody. And even the online course is great too. So we're going to park it. We're going to plug it. Invisible Speed. You can find the links for that in the written description of this podcast. This man says it's good and he studies physics for a living. So people need to get knowledgeable. Like stop copying everybody's setup and learn it. That will save you. Lead a man. You can teach a man how to. This is how they're saying you can teach a man how you can give a man some fish or teach him how to fish and eat for the rest of his life. Same thing with RC. All right. Moving forward. So you are in university. Have you been able to manage your race life in university, or did you have to take some breaks? Well, I guess how did it start for you? That's a better question. How did it all start for you, like racing?
So racing was in our family a big part always. Jurgen would always travel to the Worlds, and LRP TCM at the time was the biggest touring car race in the world. So I was there as a kid when I was 3 or 4 watching the racing. Jurgen would bring sometimes the RTR cars we made as LRP home. I would test them, see what breaks. There's some funny stories. When I was 3 or something, we were also distributing HPI. So I had one of the really small HPI cars and I drove it around the street all day, crashed it, went to Jurgen, said, oh, it's broken. He would either fix it himself or get someone to fix it. And then the next day I would go on again. And then I was racing at LRP TCM in the rookie class where you had to run some RTR touring car. I did this when I was 5 and when I was 6, I think. The thing was I didn't practice so much because Jurgen was super busy and couldn't take me to a track. And I was not really good. I think it was 15 drivers and my best was 8 or something. So Jurgen considered me to be quite pointless, and I didn't do that much racing, probably because of this as well. And then when I got older, I wanted to do off-road, and we had an RTR car, LRP Twister. It's rear motor, and he told me, yeah, I need to run this, and then when I get good results, I can switch to a more modern mid-motor buggy, because it was coming up at the time. I think this was maybe 2012, 2013. No, I forgot something. Before this, I did another race in the off-road rookie class, and I won the first race. I didn't practice. I went there and I won. So Jurgen thought maybe I'm not completely talentless, and I had the opportunity to do a bit more racing. And then I raced like once or twice a year when I was maybe 10 or 11, because I had a bit of an illness, so I couldn't do more at a local club. So it was maybe 40 drivers in the stock category, and I never quite made the main. I think I did it for 2 years. So it was 2 races a year, 2 years, like 4 races, and I couldn't make the main with the rear motor. And then Jurgen went to the Robin Hood Euros and came back and told me immediately, okay, I was a bit hard. They are even running mid motors now on clay. So for Christmas, I got the Schumacher KF2. Because Michael was a team driver of ours, so he sent me some setup I should put. And then I used this at the same race, and I finished second at the first meeting. And then I went to this was 2016. And then I went to another race and did some practicing. And then we also started to distribute AE at the time, and the B6 came out. And this was when it really started for me. And then I was doing as much racing. There's Florian Kappes, you will probably not know him. And he took me to all the races with his dad. And this is how it started.
So you aren't completely talentless, as Jurgen thought.
Apparently not. In the beginning he thought, but I think now he doesn't think so anymore.
You know what I find strange for me is that you call him Jurgen and not dad or father.
Well, I only do this when I speak to him about him in the third person.
Okay.
Because it's mainly because at the races everybody calls him Jurgen.
Right.
And if I speak to maybe someone like
they don't know who your dad is
about him, and he speaks to him, and then it's always Jurgen because it's the easiest.
Yeah, I get it.
This is why I do it in the podcast, but of course I call him dad. Always will do.
It's much more efficient, that's for sure. Well, that's German, right? Efficiency is key over there. But I guess so. You grew up racing. Now, how involved in the family business was you? Did you have any interest in it growing up?
Yes, always. When I was small, when other people put in their like the books where you put some stuff for your friends, maybe like what was your hobbies or what is your favorite animal. There's the one I found quite recently when I was moving to Innsbruck and I cleaned my room. I found one and I put, what do you want to be? I was 4 and I put LRP boss as my dream job. Yes.
So you grew
up. I was involved in it.
All right. So you grew up like working at the workbench with your dad, asking him questions, doing that type of stuff.
I mean, at the time it was a really big company, like more than 60 employees. I think 85 at the peak. And we did a lot of RTR stuff as well, like helicopters or something like this. And I was really into that. When we got a new one that we wanted to test and sell, I got it home and I flew it around. And one time I flew around in the garden and then it started to burn. So it flew in my neighbor's garden. And I went upstairs and told my mom that the helicopter burned and fell into the small pool my neighbor has.
Good thing it fell in the pool.
Yes, I landed it in there. I could still control. So I was always involved in it.
Oh, that's very interesting because like I have a son and a daughter, right? And my son really has no interest in RC. He likes it. He went to a race last year. He raced and he did some club racing. He liked it. Mind you, we don't have a place here either. He's into gaming, right? If you put a controller in his hand, he'll enjoy it. He likes streaming and all that there, but he has no wish to come up here and help his dad out doing any of this stuff, right? My daughter, on the other hand, she wants to be everywhere, but you can't tell anything because she knows it all, right? So we'll see. It's weird, but it sounds like you are like fell right off the tree, like cut right from the same cloth as your dad, like.
Probably in many ways we are quite similar. Michael always says it's a bit mini Jurgen.
I mean, you just been there. You've been there. All right. I guess I want to know a little bit about the history of LRP. I know it started in 1987. Maybe run us through. I know you said at your peak you had maybe 85 employees. You guys did run into some financial difficulties. You started back up. You even had some flooding here recently. But maybe we start at the beginning, how your dad got into this and how your dad started LRP, please.
So my dad is from a normal German middle class, I would say, family. So my grandpa, he was working at Mercedes-Benz in assembling the cars, and my grandma, she would do some smaller jobs, like when someone needed help in the town we are from, she would help them and get some money from that. And for whatever reason, Jurgen, I think he got a magazine or something where he got to know that RC cars exist. And then he started carrying out newspapers when he was 14 or something. And this was what he did to finance his RC. And at the time, it wasn't so sophisticated. So this must be around 1980 or something when he got into it. And he realized that the way the brushed motors at the time were made was not so good. And he started to make some himself. And I think this was maybe 1984, 85, something like this. And he made it for his friends as well. Yeah, and then he actually he found out that some Japanese motor manufacturer was coming to Stuttgart to visit Märklin, who was doing the trains. And I think he was 17 or 18 at the time. He visited the guy and spoke to him and borrowed some money to buy the minimum required amount of rotors from him. And he borrowed it from my great grandmother, who I didn't meet. And this is how it started. Then he got his company when he was 18 and yeah, just went for it. Started to do speed controllers, later started to do batteries as well. And he was a quite accomplished racer, 3-time European champion himself. So
And what classes?
10 scale off-road two-wheel drive, 12 scale, and I think Pro 10, which was just larger 12 scale cars. So it was
what
they were running before touring car.
Yeah, what Joe Johnson won. I think won a world in that.
Yes, I think he won a world.
Pro 10 or something like that.
Yes, Pro 10 exactly.
So your dad had a baseline to base you on your talent level then, because he was an accomplished racer.
Yes, he was an accomplished racer. Yes, he also I think finished second at a Reedy race. Worlds, made a few A-mains, won a warm up where everybody was there, so he was quite good. Really good actually.
Awesome, and he obviously took chances because at 17 years old, he ran.
Yeah,
and
he finished his school like the highest level possible in Germany, and then his father wanted him to work at Mercedes-Benz, which would have for sure been the safe route, but he never wanted it, and so he decided to try and make a living out of RC.
Well, I think he succeeded in that. Ups and downs. Let's talk about LRP at its peak. It goes from rotors and motors to RTR cars to helicopters. How does that all happen?
Yes. So when we started, I think in 2000 or 2001, there was a big expansion in the company, and we started to distribute HPI. And Stefan Köhler at the time was doing that as an employee, and he did this really well, and that did grow the business a lot. We also distributed a lot of stuff over the years. I'm not into everything, but I think we sold Corrali cars at some point. So what kind of happened with HPI was that first of all it got much bigger, and second of all we started to really get into the more bashing side and not so much racing side of RC as well, and that continued to the point where I think in probably 2010, 2011, we started to make our own RTR cars. I think the first was a 1-18 car. And this went well. Then we did 10 scale cars as well. So 10 scale 4-wheel drive first was called the Blast platform. It was a touring car, a monster truck. buggy. This went well again. Then we did our own 2-wheel drive platform, our own 8-scale RTR and racing platform. And we also got into planes, drones, helicopters, all of this. And this was probably the peak. Like 2012, 2013 was 85 employees, quite big business all around the world.
Hey, your 8-scale platform, was that like the Z car? Was that it? Did the LRP make something similar to that, or was it the car? I can't remember. It's been a while.
So there was two, and the first platform was called S8BX, and that was really good. Jon Newman raced it at the time, and he made a world's final with it. I think it's his one and only Nitro final. And after that, we tried to make a platform that can do RTR and racing in one. And this worked out so for the racing side, but quite well for the RTR side.
I think that's still a problem nowadays. Like, how do we balance affordability, racing performance, and quality to fit it into a package that everybody can buy? And I think there are attempts out there. Like, I know the S-Works e-buggy is really good. Like the RTR e-buggies, I heard a lot of good things about it. But we have to still kind of figure out how to give these. I think that's going to help RC racing grow. Like, it just kind of came to me, like having a car that is in a good price point that comes out of the box with a decent radio, a decent ESC, like something that they could put on the ground, put on the track, go be competitive. Don't give it tires. Let them pick their own tires or whatever. And I think a good e-buggy like that would help bring more people into the industry. And it has to be a good price point, maybe $750.
We are actually trying to do this right now. So we have based on our first try, we have the Rebel BX3, which is already out, which currently is only a nitro. And Burak, for example, Kilic, drove it on a racetrack a few times, and we tested it there as well, and it's actually working really well. So you can run it straight off the box. Even with the stock tires, it works quite all right. And we are going to make electric as well, which is going to come out quite soon. And I think the price point is actually less than what you say. And the idea is to give something that you can run as a basher, but that will be good enough to also run it on the track.
Got you.
So
Got you.
We're trying to do this.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll touch more on that as well. Back to LRP, height 85 employees, big warehouse. Did you guys have there in Germany?
Yes, it was really big. It was almost the whole street that now got flooded. So it was quite big. I don't remember how many square meters it was, but it was really big. I think we had 15,000 different articles or something like this. We stocked and distributed, so it was quite a big company.
And in the racing side of things, how was LRP at this point?
We started brushless. So we were the
I did not know that.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Before it was brushed, and in the end of brushed, we also started LiPo, I think. Because before that,
because I thought it was Novak that came up with the first brushless system.
We had the first brushless system. I'm quite sure.
Well, let's talk about that.
Either us or Novak or at the same time, because the regulation was done by us together with Novak. So the issue was just that brushed was quite maxed out. You had to run it like once, and the collector, you had to do this new every run, and it was getting crazy for normal people. And it was just getting to a point where it was really expensive and really hard to get into it in the first place. So us and Novak, I think, realized this more or less at the same time and made a brushless speed controller to fix this. And I think, I'm not sure if we were the first one to do boost as well, but all of the stuff that now is standard, we have been really involved in developing it. Also, we were the first to come up with low center of gravity batteries, I'm quite sure. So
and LiPos,
yes, on the LiPos, I'm not completely sure, but I know that us and Novak quite at the same time had the first brushless systems, and for sure we made the first LCG batteries because I was involved in that at the time in the discussions.
So I have a question. What was the big breakthrough in brushless. You know, we did brushed for a long time. I assumed that brushless motors were around prior to this. But
In
what was
industry, they were used, to my knowledge. So I don't think that it was invented in RC, the concept.
right
I'm quite sure it wasn't, but I think
adapted for RC car racing? Because I'm pretty sure like helicopters and all that had it. But do you know what happened?
yeah. So just as I said, the motors would only do one run at good power, and this had to be changed.
Right, this brush motor.
Yes, brush motors in the end was basically one run, or maybe two, and then you had to take it apart, do the winding new, and do all that. So that was, and do new brushes all the time. So that was not really sustainable for anyone. It was good for the manufacturers, but we wanted to make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we started probably in 06 or something around that. We probably started to develop it. And I think the first time it was really around at the big race, but I'm not too confident on it. But the first Worlds where it really changed from brush to brushless was the touring car Worlds in Bangkok. There's that legendary video of Atsushi Hara versus Mark Reinhardt.
I know that video.
Watched it
RC Racing
yourself
TV's
as
video.
well.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was when touring car was like the shit. Like still the shit.
At that race, it was 10 out of 10 speed controllers LRP on Oswan in the final.
Really? Impressive.
So that was, I think nobody ever did it before, and I'm confident nobody will ever do it again.
Amazing. I remember when the brushless came out, Ernie Paretti, may he rest in peace, he was so against it. I remember he wrote this big article like about it and how it's bad, it's going to ruin the industry and all that type of stuff. It has absolutely done the opposite, because I believe I read that. Now, somebody probably going to say, no, you didn't read that, Lefty, but I think I read it in a magazine. I think I read it on the internet, something way back in the day. It has revolutionarily changed the industry. Like, somebody told me the other day, I want to go back to brush. I was like, no, you don't. Nobody wants to do that. You don't want to lathe motor comms and put new brushes in and you want to plug and play. I think it rejuvenated 10 scale. It has created the new e-buggy, e-truggy, all this type of stuff. This whole basher crowd where we have, these big 8S systems and all this type of stuff. If it wasn't for brushless, we would have none of that. Like, I was at a basher event and they were showing me motors the size of this, and it's insane. The technology, and it's still pretty much cost effective, right?
It's really better in almost every aspect. I mean, even the drivability now is probably better than brushed ever was. So yeah, it's really good. And I would have to double check with Jurgen if we were the first ones to do it in RC, but in competition RC, I'm quite sure
RC.
I'm quite confident we were, but I can double check.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody that's listening to this will come in and say, no, it wasn't. It was this person on such and such date. But
yeah, probably there was some guy in his garage who tried it first. But
yes,
but we were the first on industrial scale, I would say.
Okay, all right. So LRP, big warehouse, 85 employees, and then we run into some issues. Maybe let people know what happened. Elaborate on that.
Yeah, I can go into this. I think 2017, I think in May or something, we filed insolvency. So administration, I think, is the English term. So the reason we did that at the time was triggered by HPI insolvency, which was roughly a third of our annual turnover. And we were really surprised by this. So this was not something we really could have seen. Maybe in the hindsight, we shouldn't have let it get that big and important for us. Mm-hmm. But also we did it for more than 15 years very successfully. So that I think triggered basically a big amount of turnover to be away. And in Germany, there is a rule that you have to basically, if I now stop selling anything, I need to be able to cover my expenses like staff and all of this for at least 2 years without selling anything. And this was, to my knowledge, no longer guaranteed. And if we continued and it would have worked out, obviously no one cares. In case it would not have been worked out, this would have very likely been an issue considering legal stuff for Jurgen. So, I mean, I remember the time was quite terrible for him because he built it all up and then it was finished, at least in the
So this
status
is
it
when
was.
this is when so we're clear. The 2017 when HB
HPI.
HBI is, but were they still connected to HB Racing, or the HB Racing
Yes.
already? Right.
Yes, I think I'm not sure when the HBI insolvency was. I think it was 2016. So then there was a process of buying it. We were also involved in doing this, but someone else paid a lot more for the whole thing. And then I think it split up to HB Racing, which Team Orion, so Philippe Neidhardt bought, and Ripmax bought HBI. This was all quite at the same time. We were also doing a lot of drones and stuff like this. And I think there was also some issues with the sales of this not being the same as the years before. But this was really the trigger.
Wow. How long did this take, like from start to finish?
I think it was finished in mid 2018. I think the new company started mid 2018.
Okay. So you guys file for insolvency and then revamp, restructure, and I guess a lot smaller now.
Yeah, much smaller.
Like how many employees now, smaller warehouse, all this type of stuff?
How many employees is a good question. I would say it's 5 to 10, dependent on how you count people that work like 50%.
Got you. Part-time workers. And how did your dad handle that? Like, how does he refocus, restructure? Because that sounds like a very sudden blow, right? And something that came
from the way I
unexpectedly.
experienced it, I was 14 when it happened. I was never scared, like that he would not figure it out, because before the years were really good as well, and there was no immediate threat to our
Got
family, in the sense of not having food on the table. So this was always not that much of an issue, but I was also involved. I remember we talked a lot about how to continue. What I actually forgot was there was a investor process, which we we didn't immediately file administration, but we were searching for an investor after the HPI thing. I think it went really far with a Chinese company. I cannot disclose who it was. But in the end, the terms didn't work out. It would have not made sense to agree, and we instead built a company, or mainly Jurgen, built the companies from scratch again.
So yeah, let's talk about that. What was the focus on this time around?
First, focus was just to do competition products.
Okay.
This was the idea. To speed controllers, motors, batteries, and this is what we did in the beginning. And now we are starting to slowly do some RTR stuff again, because this is quite a big market, and we want to enter this again. But it was much smaller organization, much more like in the early days, doing everything yourself, visiting the suppliers, getting all the stock, planning all that, and then it started again. But we were never off market. We were always selling products, and we were always developing them. So that never really stopped.
Okay.
Because we still do all the development in house. We are the only ones left doing that.
Okay. How does that work? How do you guys work with that? Do you work with your drivers? Do you do a lot of testing? How does that work out?
I do a lot of testing. People like Ronald Völker do a lot of testing in touring car. Jurgen is super involved in the testing, super involved in the feedback with the drivers. And then we basically, we decide on the track what we want to do. Then we program the software and the hardware if it's needed. And then basically from that, test if it works on the track and then go on.
Okay. How important are guys like Burak and Barkan to your program?
For 8-scale is super important.
Okay.
When we started working with them, I think 2 years ago now, we learned so much. We have a new motor, a new speedo now, and it's been driven testing with them has been the main driver. We did stuff, tested it with them, saw how it worked. This is also the reason I got into 8-scale. This is why I'm only doing electric to test myself. But they play a big role, for sure.
When did you start probably getting more involved in the company?
Well, I always, as I told you, I always tested products and stuff like this ever since I was a kid. And then when I was maybe 15 or something, I mean, I always did some other work, like join him in the company, maybe find some stuff in the warehouse. And when I was maybe 15 or something like that, or 16, I don't remember, then I got into it more. And it kind of came naturally with the racing I was doing, because I was always paying the product I used. So I got some money from like money you get from your grandparents or something, and some of it from the work I did.
All right. So it sounds like LRP was very, very innovative, obviously being one of the first companies or the first company to make brushless into competition racing RC. Anything that you guys are working on that you can let me know about right now? And then I want to talk a little bit about 8-scale electronics and the future of that.
So what we virtually finished developing is our iX8 V3, which is just an update of the current speed controller we have in 8-scale. It's what I run, what Max Hesse runs, what Burak Kilic and Berkan Kilic run. And which also a lot of people are now running in Germany and Austria, especially again. Adrian Pariente used it the first time at Buggyland, and he was super competitive.
His e-truggy was good.
Yeah. E-truggy, he used it, and it looked really good there. And I think fourth in electric was also super good. And we are working on a new stock motor as well.
17.5?
13.5, 17.5, 10.5, 21.5. But we are really quite early in the testing.
Okay.
On that.
We're going to get into stock racing after this. Yeah. Don't worry. We're going to get into this.
Modified motor, we are also in the developing a new one. And we are also updating our Flow X 10-scale controller platform quite soon. Okay. So it will be an update to it.
So I guess as a racer, you have very good input because you know what you want in electronics and the feeling of your car and all that stuff. What are some of the things that maybe you guys think you want to tackle coming into the future that maybe other companies haven't? I know you can't really give away all your secrets, but what is something you'd like to see in electronics change? 10-scale, I would say 10-scale. 8-scale is a whole different animal.
So in 10-scale, for me, the vision is at the moment we still have a speed controller which you adjust with buttons, which is for sure something you have to get used to. It's something many of our drivers actually really like once they get used to it, but it's a bit of an entry barrier. But we have a product that is the programming side of it is extremely close to the hardware. So what the advantage this gives it, the response and the feeling of how it is on the finger and on the brake. When people try my cars, they are always so impressed at how well it actually follows the finger and stuff like this. So for sure the vision is to try and keep the very hardware near programming and combine that with a more user friendly interface. So that's what we are working on as well.
How about super innovative? How about data logging? Let's get raw. Let's Can we do this? Can we do this with it? I know we can do it with electronics. Can we do it? I know some people did it. I had a buddy that liked this electronics things, and he had analytics of his throttle inputs and all that type of stuff. But I mean, like real time. I want somebody in the pit to be able to see. I actually could, because I had this little thing and I was able to see his inputs and all that stuff. But I want to be able, on your phone. I want people to be able to see real time inputs, data logging, all this type of analytics. I know that takes a lot of stuff, a lot of sensors, all that stuff. But can we make that work in RC racing?
You can. I'm quite sure it will come.
Okay.
It's also something we have on our mind. But right now for us, it is really important to keep our software infrastructure and to combine it with the easy adjustability. So data logging will be something that probably we will do in the future.
How big would a sensor have to be on your car, on a competition car, where it doesn't inhibit, like where we don't have these pro guys saying, okay, it's not working here?
I think one of the problems is to do the signal to the phone with a really small sensor. So what I think the easier way actually is to get the signal from the receiver. So you can see the throttle and the steering inputs more on the receiver side, because you could just basically couple another receiver and see what happens there. If you really want to see stuff like motor RPM,
I want to see what's that body roll, and I want to see everything. I want to see all that.
Yeah, I think it's actually. I expect this to be coming.
How far out? Do you think the industry, not just you, the industry?
I think it depends of if someone says this is their product which they want to make, and I've seen someone actually doing something close to this.
They have that data logger thing, test logger thing, looks pretty good.
Yes. So I haven't looked into it in detail. So I think if a company like this focuses on it, I think it's a year or two.
So
I can see it being quite.
What close. Do you? So tell people out here who may not understand what we're talking about. How does that benefit the racer, the company, to get that type of analytics and information?
I think for a racer, it's so important, because right now what you have most of the time is it's just a feel of the driver. So the driver might describe oversteer into the corner, maybe understeer out of the corner, the opposite, and it's super subjective. So you can't really see what the car really does, what the tires do. So I, for myself, use a lot of slow-mo, because you can see a lot more details. Is the suspension working? Is the tire actually always using the full contact patch? And in real racing, they work with this so much. So in Formula One, for example, all the data is really important, because it takes away the subjective input and gives you numbers to it.
Right. And then you can then take those numbers and make a better product and a better setup and all that type of stuff. So
I think for setup especially, it can be super beneficial.
Yeah. But I also, like, my geek mind, like I would love to see getting back to at a Worlds where we have one-off stuff that people are trying and all that, to see if it works, just to get that edge. And people was like, well, what's the next innovative thing in RC? How do we gain knowledge from our cars to make them better? That's the next innovative thing, I think. We can't do anything more innovative without getting the numbers and the information that we need to make things better. That's for you guys, you physics, you guys, and you super science guys. I just sell it. I have the ideas. I have no idea how we do it, but I know we need that to make things better. All right, let's move on to 8 scale. So 8 scale is my, I'm a big nitro guy, but I understand that electric is uber important. It pays the bills. You go to these big Southeast race 1/8 scale races, there's 120 plus e-buggies just in sportsmen, and then we have intermediate. It's a huge class. I like that I think it's a very good way to get people into RC as well, because it's very much plug and play. I love e-truggy. I think e-truggy is going to be bigger than e-buggy. I know I'm a nitro guy, but I think e-truggy is going to kill nitro truggy to an extent, which is fine. That's going to be kind of like it could go smaller, but I heard these guys, why I love nitro racing, pit stops, all that type of stuff, longer races. And then we heard the e-buggy guys talking about they want pit stops too, which I don't fully agree with, because I actually like the smaller sprint races, I think 15 minutes would be great. Like two or three 15-minute races. And I think honestly, as a viewer, I don't want to see people clamming around trying to put batteries in. And it takes away something that makes e-buggy accessible for everybody, and that is not needing a pit person, right? I do believe that the electronics is still, I think 8-scale electronics go through a lot more rigorous, harder applications than 10-scale. We're racing 8-scale. The electronics have improved greatly, right? You know what I mean? They have improved greatly. And I mean the reliability, because sometimes we're seeing these cars flatland from 25 feet in the air, just slamming. Lots of things that can blow electronics and whatnot. And then, of course, we have people that say the feel. Like, you talk to a lot of these pro guys, the feel that they want. That's why some of these, like Drake used to run, or still does, runs a clutch on his e-buggy because it feels like a nitro car. What can you say about that? Like, what do you think about, first, let's tackle electronics, making them more reliable, making them feel better, more applicable to 8-scale racers?
So our idea for our new 8-scale speed controller is that it's really plug and play, as you say. So the only thing, and I'm confident in saying this, it's also the only thing we do right now, is we take it, bind it to the receiver, and go. There's no spectacular thing going on anymore with the settings, because I think in 8-scale, different to 10-scale, in 10-scale we play so much around with brake settings, all the different throttle stuff. And in 8-scale, we have found something that for me, with the racing I do, works on the conditions I've run, and also for Burak, for example, in Berkan, it was also really, really good in Silver State. And they run the same stuff as they ran in Bischofsheim at the Euros, which was completely different conditions. So for the feel and stuff, I think we are really strong on this side now. Mm-hmm. And especially motor reliability, we have learned so much over the last 2 years, and the new product we will now make, I'm quite confident to say, will be really, really good on this as well. And I think it's important. I think 8-scale electric, as you say, is the best class to get people into racing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
build it with a setup out of the box. I can say this with my Mugen car because that's basically how I did it. And you go and you're competitive. If you can drive, it's not like 10-scale where all the details matter so much. The tire is important, put a reliable electronics, good batteries, and have fun.
Yeah, you don't need boost and all that stuff in e-bike, because them things are fast, right? Them motors with 4S are fast. I think most drivers like a little bit drag brake to bring that engine brake feeling in. I know I did. And I never, I still leave my electronics stock because that thing's fast enough, So
for us, the idea is we have 2 settings similar to the needles, one for low speed, one for high speed. And the people just change the value. So they don't really in detail need to know what it changes on the boost because it's too complicated. People will rather mess it up. So it's really easy. It comes basically with a lower needle initial drive setting and a power mode setting. And if you put it in, it's going to be drivable. It's going to have some boost, some of this, some of that, but it's not something the driver needs to worry about.
But you can adjust it. So you can say, all right, I want to go up 25% on the low end and I want to go down. Okay, that's simple. That's easy. Very easy. Easy interface.
That's the idea. Yeah.
How about, all right, so what's holding? You hear guys talk about, I can do 30 minutes or 20 minutes on my e-buggy. I always think the electronics is holding back. What do you think? Look, I do not want a 30-minute e-buggy race, but if it can be done without battery changing, can it be done now? Can the electronics hold up? Is it feasible?
So with what I run, I'm sure if I change the batteries, I can do a 30-minute run.
Okay.
I need to change batteries once. I think if it's super, super hot, like if you do it in Portugal with 40 degrees and do it with the power that the top guys run, then 30 minutes will be hard on the electronics, but I would deem it possible. Because what we find with our electronics is it heats up over the first 5 minutes, and then it kind of peaks at 7, and then the cooling and the heating kind of find a balance, and it doesn't get warmer anymore. So we have also done quite a lot of work on that. People can check it out. We have our 8-scale electric cooling system, which has a fan with a cover, and it's really durable. No stones get in. And it's also protecting the fence when it lands. So this, I think, has been quite important, because what you need to ensure is that the cooling doesn't fail. That's quite important, because if it does, then it heats. For sure, you can, if I run less power than I do to get the super fast lap time, then I can do 20 minutes on one pack. In conditions like Red's GP last weekend, I would have already been able to do 20 minutes. It depends on the condition, really. In Bishop's, then no chance. If it's high grip, high speed, 20 minutes.
Yeah, because you only throttle so much.
Yeah. You just, and you go often from super slow to super fast.
The braking. So that, because that's what Max was kind of talking about the Euros tracker for the 10 scale Euros. He was saying that it's really not the full throttle, it's the hard braking after full throttle that strains the electronics. How true is that?
It's true that the hard braking is something that heats up the speed controller a lot.
Okay. True. All right, Max, you got one right. At
the Euros, I wasn't there, but I was involved quite a lot with helping Micha, for example, with his settings, or Patrick Bremstaller, who maybe is not as well known, but he also did really well, top 35. Pecco made the main on our electronics. So what we could see there was, especially with the two-wheel drive layout, the brake was a major issue. I mean, it was heating up everyone's electronic a lot. You could still run, but it was more of a thing than I would have expected before the event.
Well, it was a lot of straightaways to 180s on carpet with very fast cars. No jumps. Not like carpet jumps. Not like carpet jumps at all. We had a good rant about that on show 299. All right. Let's move forward a little bit. Let's get into a topic that I think we're both pretty passionate about. I used to be the biggest hater of this class. I called them the Pink Pinion Crusaders. Hey, look, dude, stock racing keeps 10 scale keeps 10 scale alive in the USA. Simple. It is. Look, I was like, modified's the only way to go. You know, these guys need to come up from stock. Stock. I kind of stopped looking at stock as a class where you can bump up from, which it still can be and still can be used for that, to it more looking like it's a class that, hey, you can just be good in that class as well. And I'm trying to, it's almost like, all right, I'll tell you a good example. I don't know if you're a motocross follower, but Martin Davalos stayed in 250 for like his entire career almost, you know, maybe went up to 450s near the end, but he was always battle on the 250s. That's where he stayed. That's where he made his money. That's kind of how I look at stock, right? It's the 250 class. It's huge. It's a lot of money. Like, I didn't realize how much money's involved in this. Like, that's why these guys don't want to leave, because they're making money, right? They're making money off their stock wins. But it's such a huge, it's such a huge class in the USA. I've come to appreciate it, not because it's very competitive, right? It gives guys who probably won't be a pro driver. Some of them will be, you know, but maybe one or two of them will go forward. It's very hard, and you got up to modified. If that's the goal that you want to chase, then you should be good. Modified should be where you're headed to. But I love it. I love the drama that comes with it, like other racing where you can get caught cheating. I have fallen in love with stock. I've fallen in love with the personalities there, and I look forward to watching it when I go to these races. Now, you, as a European, probably do not agree at all with me on that.
So I think if we stay with motocross, if you are Jed Lawrence, or believe you are, you're not going to run 250 for too long. You will run 450 because you want to beat the big dogs.
I agree with you there. I am not disputing that. I understand that argument 100%. I understand it. I agree with you. But I also like the stock thing, and I just think it's something that we have to embrace.
So I agree on liking stock, and we do our own racing series in Germany, which is called the LRP Challenge, which is now mainly in southern Germany. And the stock classes are really popular. So what the situation we had there is, everyone runs our 13.5 motor in two-wheel and 10.5 in four-wheel, and our electronics. So it's the most simple thing. If you want to get into 10 scale, you run the one electronics, charge your battery, set it up once, and go.
Mm-hmm.
With open stock like it is in the US, it's a bit different because it's not as beginner friendly. Now they do
Not at
have
all.
Now they do have intermediate classes, sportsman classes, all
Independent and all these different classes, yes.
Yes, which kind of helps with this, I guess. But to get, for me, I see stock as a way to get into racing. And if this is
agree
the
with you
idea
there
of
too.
it, then I think in the US it's too extreme. Because guys
Yes.
like Matthew Gonzalez, probably in their prime, were running stock. And he's a really good driver. I mean, he finished 30-something at the Worlds in hobby action. Or Doug, I think he finished one behind me or one in front in the US. So these guys can drive. And in the US, there's a big stock market. So I think it makes sense for the companies to sponsor them and then they stay there.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, for example, I think it is the best. Or for me, the racing in the UK is really good. You have a very healthy regional series. You have North, South, and all of that. So people have quite local races, and everybody runs modified. So what this really does is a lot of people just compete, don't run too crazy horsepower, compete at their regionals, then qualify if they are good for the nationals, get their F grading up, which enables them to do the nationals, qualify for the Euros. So stock racing isn't really a thing, and a lot of people there are new racers, get into it. It's a really healthy market. And in the
even
US,
for 8 scale, even like the BRCA has their shit together on lots of things.
They do a fantastic job. There's also no hate against the BRCA in the UK. It's the only federation that never gets any hate because they do a super good job.
And they're still kind of archaic. But what I mean by that is I had to mail in when I was there and I joined it, you had to send in a mail. I'm sure it's different now and you got a card. But I remember being there, if you didn't have a BRCA card by your third race, you had to show that shit. So it means something. If anybody wants to see how a federation is supposed to work, that is probably
look at BRCA. Martin Owen is running the 10 scale stuff.
Yeah, the emperor of everything.
The emperor of everything. Nice guy, common sense. Runs the series well. Nice regulations, not too much. Technical inspections, not too few. It's often the regional stuff like workshop. You have national level A-main drivers, also European A-main drivers. I went there a few times. There was an EOS there. You have a lot of people that just go there because it's one day. You have 2 practices. No one can prepare on the surface. So it's a really nice and fair thing that is quite cost efficient, which I think is something quite important.
Absolutely. I actually think that this is the market that the USA is going to have to follow when it comes to tracks. And that's going to be semi-permanent tracks, carpet tracks. Because carpet is, in my opinion, dart is going to be 5 years from now, we're going to have no dart tracks. We'll have 1 or 2, right? But when I mean the indoor clay tracks with slicks. There'll be some holdouts, but you're going to see more people opening up club type of track, which I think would be a good thing, and go into how they do it in the UK. I'm sure they do it in Europe. You go to a school hall, you roll out your AstroTurf or your carpet, set up your modular jumps, set up your driver stand. I've been there. I've been to Silverstone, yes, a few times when I was in the UK. It's so cost efficient. You can have a different track layout each time. You can go in there and do a Tuesday night club race. It's the future. I believe carpet is the future of RC. It's promoting RC, even though I love Nitro and I want to promote with that. But I think things like the MKGP, that type of stuff, I think all of that stuff is good for RC. So I'm 100% on you with that. Let's retract it back to stock. So you guys in Europe, you do 13.5 in four-wheel drive and 10.5 in two-wheel drive. And Max was like, I think we need to adapt that because then you have the speed that you need. It kind of, do you think that eliminates cheating to an extent? I know you guys have
Yes.
your handout controllers, and your handout ESCs and handout motors. I don't know, how is the other stock classes in the USA, in Europe? Is it the same?
So at EOS, they run our LRP motors as well, with fixed timing, so you can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I wouldn't, even though I was involved quite heavily in the development, I wouldn't know how to cheat with the motor, with the handout, because you would have to do obvious stuff. The speedo is open but blinky, so you can do stuff on the speed controller. It's a common misconception that you cannot optimize your speed controller just because it's blinky.
Mm-hmm.
The batteries are important. So this is also something where we are super popular in Europe with the Nosram and LRP batteries. But I think the 10.5, 13.5 fixed timing is actually quite good, because as Max probably says, there's not that much of a point to cheat, because it's quite fast anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes his point about having faster motors in stock. So for me, it looks like this. You probably mentioned it earlier. Europe uses stock as an entry-level, affordable way for people to race, which it should be when you're talking about stock racing, to an extent. When most people think stock, that's what they think. But in America, stock racing isn't that. It's a complete and total business. There's, it's two complete different industries, and both have their purposes, right? So
absolutely, it's not that I mean, maybe I should clarify that it's not that I'm against US type stock racing. I just think that it's not the entry level class.
No, of course not.
That it is in Europe, and that's the only thing. It's a cool class. You can have a driving style for it. You can make setups for it. You can optimize your stuff, and it's fine. The question is just, what do you want it to be?
Yeah, and I think in Europe they've decided what they want it to be, and in the USA, it's a mix. It's not an entry level. It can be, because people can enter, like, you don't need everything for a stock car, but not everybody. Most people is going to get into 10 scale, might go around 21.5 or in the, like a little lower class where they have more the same competition. But I think what's happened with stock, what's really kind of pissed off a lot of people, is that it's actually kind of killed modified in the USA. So where you do not have the modified turnout at local club races, at that type of stuff. It's mostly stock, because because people are just comfortable, throw it on their car, put it out there, it works. I mean, some people even run their stock cars in mod. Mod is unfortunately not. Maybe it's for the best thing. It's turned into a pro class only, which maybe we need. But the whole dynamic of 10 scale has something that 8 scale doesn't have for me. And that is, we have a pro class, which is modified. We have a stock class, or maybe we call it pro spec mod, right? Maybe we change the name, which is your up and coming level racer, what we have, but it's separated mechanically. In 8 scale, we don't have that. We have, I'm a pro, I'm an intermediate, I'm a sportsman. There's absolutely nothing really besides lap times, but there's no physical or mechanical difference. I can have the same car in sportsman as the guy in intermediate, as the guy in pro. That's what I like about 10 scale, and that's why I've come to appreciate stock. But man, well, let's segue, if you don't mind. By the way, Martin Beyer and Gotsu kicked ass last year in stock in America. So for all those guys who put those arguments about, who think that, one of my buddies says, oh, the fast stock guys will beat the fast. He said the fast stock guys in stock, if the modified guys dropped on, pro guys dropped on, the fast stock guys would beat them. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. I said, those guys are on a whole different level.
And touring car, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be. Someone like, but there's maybe, I could see 2 or 3 stock touring car drivers, but they have now moved up to modified anyway. So someone like Simon Lauter, super talented, super nice guy, made ETS podiums now, won the stock Euros. He's someone that on a stock car could compete with someone like Mark or Ronald or Bruno, I guess, on a stock car, but he can also do it on a modified car.
Okay.
And I think it's the same for off-road. If you put Fendt to stock,
he's going to kick ass.
Give him 2 days to practice, he will beat them. If you put them all to mod, then he will still beat them.
Of course. I think the issue is we ain't seeing the transition. We see some guys making the switch to mod. You bought Matty G. Like it was more. He made more money racing stock. That's why he went back on there.
I heard the thing. Yeah.
And now he's just kind of fell into a good world that he does. But look at a Brandon Schimmel and a David Bada. I'll use those two, right? Because they're probably the two most successful. I think Bada has adapted well to the mod class. He's making all the finals. Brandon Schimmel, very, very big stock star, sees some success, doesn't see some. Like when I say success, when you're like you should be in A finals, almost all the A finals, I think.
I mean,
pretty
he made
much.
the A-main at the Worlds.
Yeah, but we have all these.
Yeah, you have a lot of US races as well. I think the thing is a bit what you have to look at is what tires they use.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a big thing on slicks that generally there's at the moment one manufacturer who seems to have the best tire in the US. And if you are on that tire, you will be really competitive. And if you are maybe not, it's looking harder. So sometimes it will be, sometimes not. I think that probably helps better.
I love it. Maybe, but I think I love stock, but I think the way that people think about it in terms that you explained it, that time in America has long gone. It is not about taking a stock car. It's about them things are more modified than. I actually think mod is stock. Mod is more stock than actual stock racing is. Because it's a car.
Think about it, you're right.
Yeah, it's a car out of a kit in there, blah blah blah. But so you go to EOS, ETS. How big is stock class at these races?
I mean, Jurgen does ETS. At ETS, it's mainly stock.
It's huge how big ETS is over there.
But they put ETS stock, pro stock, from 13.5 to 17.5 on a controlled motor. What this did is the really, really quick stock guys like Simon Lauter, LR Brock, now also compete in modified, or only compete in modified in the case of Simon at ETS. So I think it has become more of a stock class again, which I think is a good thing. Help modified and help the overall series. The entries are the best they have probably ever been, and they are doing a super good job with the coverage and everything. EOS, I think, has seen the same thing with our handout motors. I mean, in ETS, it's a different manufacturer, but it doesn't change the point that having a handout motor just makes it easy. And it helps because in EOS down, it was booked out maybe in 2 days. I think it's 500 something entries.
It's the only EOS, right? Dawn.
Yes.
Why is that? It used to be so many more rounds.
I'm the wrong person to speak about this.
Okay.
You have to ask the people that make the races.
Got you.
But I think it's good that down is still around, but it would be much better if more EOS would be around like it was in the past.
Yeah, and then now you have Hootie with bringing out their series, which I believe is just a straight competition to ETS and EOS.
Which is probably from a market perspective a good thing. I mean, if you have a monopole, that is never a good situation. If you have,
you're forced to be better, right? You're forced to improve and be better.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, let's talk about something I should have touched on, but I forgot. But you made it. You made it as batteries, or batteries, as you call them in Europe. Batteries. Lots of technology, lots of advancement. LiPo is still not the safest thing. I've had one, I had one blow up in her charging one time. What is the future of batteries looking like? I'm assuming lighter weighter, more capacity, lightweight, maybe a different type of battery. How's there's life? There's a couple of different batteries. Give us your thoughts on batteries, the future of that, and what you think is going to happen.
So I need to do this without giving away what we are going to do next.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be lower IR. So that is just something that just improving it will always help. More compact for the capacities, because there's no point of making a super high 10,000 milliampere shorty. Nobody's going to run it. So what we do is our 4200, which is enough to make every final you want to make, but as light as you can go. What we do is we have modified batteries and stock batteries. Modified maximizes the capacity with the weight. Stock maximizes the how low the IR can be. So we kind of tailor make the batteries so that for every application you actually have the exact pack which you need. For tense off-road, in our case, it's the 4200, or for stock the 3700. If you need the capacity, you can run the 6200 shorty. And for touring car, for example, we have a 5100 stock spec, which is super low, but still has low IR. So we focus on the cell construction development and packaging it in the case that it actually gives best performance on the track. And I think this will happen even more. If there is further improvements and you can make smaller batteries, then perhaps you can move them around more and put the weight where you actually want it. So I think it's going to go to something like this.
How about an 8 scale? Because that's where I see the majority of things blowing up, catching on fire. So much more rigors, much bigger jumps, all that type of stuff.
So I've never seen something happen in 8 scale, to be honest.
I have.
So what we do is, and I think that's an advice I can give to people, storage charge your packs.
Dude, I've seen a car at PNB come off that big ass jump, land, and as soon as the marshal went to it, burst into fire.
Then there are some other issues. But what I'm generally saying is storage charge it after every race. Do not charge it with silly amps. Check the manuals of the batteries. For us, it's 3C is what we recommend as maximum. I think that's a general rule of thumb. That's good. So then for someone landing a big jump at PNB and the battery failing, shortcutting, whatever, then this is manufacturing issues. So there is a reason why so many people choose to buy more expensive packs in Europe. It's also starting in the US because they last you longer and you will not experience these things because the price of the product also, at least we try to focus on that a lot, is that it is reflected in the quality as well.
So it lasts a long time. It lasts longer.
Yes, much longer.
Yeah, I got you.
So I myself for practice use 2-year-old shorties in off-road. And I could take some from the warehouse if I wanted to, but I don't need them.
Oh, that's good.
And then for races, I have extra packs and I use them for that. And I'm completely fine with this. So I think this is a thing. For 8 scale, I think saddle pack probably looks like a good thing to do. We have done mid-shorty packs, which are in between shorty and long packs. So they exactly fully fill the battery boxes of, for example, the associated car. But they are quite low. So I think this is another thing that will be good for 8 scale. But my general advice would be to treat the packs also in a good way. Storage charging them. I know it's annoying. You're finished with racing and you want to go home, but do it at the track. It's going to take 10 minutes. Do it, and you will have significantly less issues.
Sweet. Good
yeah,
stuff.
maybe something we didn't get to at all was my own racing so far.
Let's talk about
maybe
that.
That's something that could possibly be interesting as well for the
because you're no
guys
slouch.
Who do not know me.
Let's talk about it because you're no slouch on the track either.
I mean, I race S-Works 10 scale and Mugen 8 scale. The reason for this is quite simple. I used Schumacher 10 scale before. They didn't have an 8 scale, and Apo Kilic offered me to run the Mugen car. Then I left Schumacher after 7 or 8 years to go to work on the S-Works 10 scale program. And I didn't want to break my word on the 8 scale. So this is the situation of why this is the way it is. And I'm mostly a 10 scale racer. It's what I think I'm good at. It's what I focus on. It's where I practice. I've made EOS A mains in the past in modified. I've won this year's two-wheel drive German National Championship. I've been top 15 last year in Florida. Top 10 Europeans at the last Worlds. So it's getting somewhere. And I think I'm nowhere near what I can do.
You're still young, 21.
And I think if I find some extra time after finishing university to actually focus on the racing and practice, that would really help a lot, because the last 2 years I virtually didn't practice and only race. And I think the practicing side of it is also really important. And now actually I'm quite done. So I've done the Reds GP last weekend in Osby, fantastic event. And I made the Pro A main in e-buggy, which was really good. For only racing 8 scale once a year.
And there's some fast Italian guys there too.
Also fast Europeans. So it was quite stacked. And this has been super good. And I think next year the Euros will be on dirt in QD Arena. The Worlds will be in Australia on outdoor dirt. So it will be nice to go back to the more traditional surfaces. I think it's the most fun. I think it's the best for racing as well. And I really look forward to that.
Will you be in Australia next year?
Yeah. I plan to do the World.
What do you think about that track? That
amazing.
I think that's the last time we see a Worlds on the track like that, outdoor dirt.
I hope it. I have the big hope that it shows people again how good it is, and it rejuvenates it a bit.
What's your realistic? What's your goals for Worlds next year?
I mean, in the US, I didn't do warm up or anything. I was 42nd. Most likely, Australia will be slightly less Americans, and I might be able to practice there. So I think top 30 is really the goal. That would be good.
Will you go to Australia just for the Worlds? Or will you go prior to the Worlds?
I don't know yet. The idea is to go prior to it as well, and maybe spend a week at the track and test. But I have to see if I can do it. I mean, it's a financial thing. It's a thing of time. So I really have to see.
Time.
And I want to make I want to improve my so far best Euros result in Svenska. I think it's been top 25, but I think there should be more possible.
Will you do more? Will you ever do any nitro racing? Anything like that at some point?
So I actually tried it in Osby. So I used a very, very old used Nostra motor with a super old exhaust, old servos and stuff. So it was just the old car from my friend. And I raced and I liked it. It's really cool. But the thing for me is it's too time consuming to do it.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of maintenance.
Yes. It just takes maintenance, preparation to actually do the race nicely. And for me, it's more about focusing on something where I can either really help the company, like in 8-scale electric, or where I'm good myself. And I don't have time to do 8-scale nitro to the same level I do 10-scale. And if this changes, then I will do it. But I have to see how everything develops.
What is your thoughts on some of these drivers now? Like, let's talk about a guy like Ongaro. I know he's more of a nitro guy. He just won. He's won multiple European championships in e-buggy. He's a 3-time world champion. He went over to fucking the Worlds last year and just killed it in 4-wheel drive. What do you think about a guy like that in art?
I mean, David raced for us for many years.
Yeah.
He won his first Worlds 2018 with our motor. When we were also selling AE, or we signed him for AE, and he's extremely talented. His dad and him are at their absolute A game, focused on themselves. He has strong support from a tire manufacturer in 8-scale. I personally use Hot Race, and I think it's for normal people, especially for those who buy the tire. It's a really, really good option because you get what you want. Nicola is also an amazing guy.
Yes, he is.
Super nice.
Very nice guy. So, all right. Well,
what I wanted to say is he goes to a 10-scale Worlds and dominates 4-wheel drive, and it just shows how good he is.
And he's in the 2-wheel drive final too. You know. So I think it's very impressive. Who has impressed you the most though, out of all these up and coming racers? Who do you like going out there and watch race and saying, I want to race like that guy? I want to be like him?
On one lap, Brock Champlin is the best I've ever seen. overall mentality, preparation, everything, Michael. How dedicated and good to one class, Ronald Völker. Without any doubt, he's a bit too underrated because he didn't win. He only won one touring car world, but he dominated touring car for so many years. And people like Fenton Mayfield are crazy good as well. Bruno, I forgot. But for me, it's really from the professional side of it, it's Michael, and from the raw speed over one lap, it's Brock.
Okay. I mean, I have to agree with you on Mikhail. He's very professional. He's really good. Like, I think we have to throw him into one of the best. Like, I think he's one of those drivers that can race anything. Nitro too. You know, I watched him at the Worlds in 2022, and I was like, man, he doesn't even run this class. And yeah, he's a good. I like Mikhail, and yeah, all them guys are all good people. Like, you know, it's amazing to see the talent, but Europe right now has a lot of young talent coming up, especially in the 8 scale side of things.
I think 10 scale as well.
Yeah, well, of course, you have guys like Karab. You saw Ben Mohammed, who's still very young and fast. It's pretty impressive, and they're all running modified. Ain't no stock races there, so they're coming around.
No stock racing. Everybody is forced to compete with the big dogs, and also gets the big benefit of competing with the big dogs, because the most competition is gonna drive the most performance as well.
Absolutely. What class are you running? You're running modified at Carpet Champs?
Yes.
4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive?
Yes. 4-wheel and 2-wheel.
Good stuff.
Maybe if you want to know the goal.
Yeah, what's your goal at Carpet Champs? Because Carpet Champs is a hard fucking race.
So last year was my first actual real race with S-Works, and I finished, I think, P20 and 2-wheel, P15 and 4-wheel. So goal is for sure to have now learned the cars and improve the result. It's quite simple.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Hopefully, I wonder if like Mika and all them guys are coming. Jörn, Mika.
Micha's coming and Jörn is coming as well.
Nice.
Jörn, maybe because you asked me about the drivers that impressed me the most. Jörn Neumann is absolutely a candidate for that.
I'm very underrated.
He didn't have, for whatever reason, the results in the last couple of years to show how good he is. On AstroTurf, on his day, he's the best in the world in 10 scale. Still, you could see it at the Euros yesterday. He won 5 out of 5 qualifyings in 2. Somehow he didn't win the event overall, but he is someone I should have mentioned, because for me he was, when I started in Germany, he was the top dog. He still is most of the time, and he's unbelievably good.
I don't think there's been any the Killich brothers, but he and Jörn's been doing this for a long time, and he's able to do multiple different disciplines of RC. Very underrated. He doesn't look like he's aged one bit. He still looks like a young kid. He's been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, he won his first Euros when he was racing at 13 years old in Italy, and he was racing for 4 years. So it shows you how much talent he has. And he's also nice. I mean, I used to work with him at Schumacher, now at S-Works. Helpful guy, nice guy. And I still believe he has got what it takes to win everything in 10 scale. But we will see how it goes in Australia for him, for example, how the Euros go on dirt. But I still believe he's absolutely world class.
I wouldn't argue with that at all. I wouldn't argue with that one bit. How about up and coming racer? Who you think's gonna be really good here in the future?
So by being really good, you mean
who's gonna be a potential world champion?
I mean, the easy pick in off-road is Orlovsky, because he's gonna be. I mean, he's not that up and coming more.
I mean, like
anymore,
younger.
But he still didn't win a world.
Yeah.
Karab is fantastic. I need to think. There's a kid in Germany. His name is Henry Fauser. He's, I think, 11. And he still races stock. He is, from natural talent, the best I've seen at that age. If he sticks to it and races internationally, I think he can be good. if he can be the absolute world-class material, I don't know. I would pick Ben Smith as a bit
I've
of
heard
an
his name come up
outside.
too. Mhm.
I think he's super professional. His dad is super nice guy, helps him a lot. So I could see him getting to the levels at the Euros. Getting to the levels at the Worlds is so hard to judge because it's so few spots and you have so many good guys. If you look at the Euros top 35 right now, all of the guys are talented. All of the guys practice a lot. All of the guys are good. So that's 35 there's. Then you have 15 Asian people on the same level, I guess. And you have the Americans. So if you looked at the last Worlds, the top 80 or something like this, someone like Daniel Kobevic, who is without any doubt really talented, now finishes on the podium at the Euros and finished on the same car quite far behind me at the Worlds. And it just shows the margins and how close it all has got. But I would say Marcus Caleb can, you're right, he can win everything. Also, his mindset is unbelievable.
Yeah, I like him.
When he has a chance, always takes it. It's unbelievable every time.
I like him.
And I forgot Burak and Berkan. Both of them.
Course.
Burak's mindset never gives up. Over 1 hour, he can
I think Berkan's more talented, but doesn't take it as serious.
I think
slightly
over
more talented.
5 minutes,
Slightly
over
more.
5 minutes, for me, Berkan is better. Over 60, Burak. Both of them are super good, super nice kids as well. Sometimes they get a bit of shame that is maybe a bit over proportional at times, but nice guys, talented, hardworking, and they will get somewhere, I'm sure.
I love them, their dad. I've become really good friends with them. I guess we'll finish up. Racing in Germany. Let's talk about that. It's been a while since, you've had some world champions. Reckwood was a world champion. I think Daniel Reckwood was his name. We talked about Jorn. He was like the next big thing out of Germany. We had the Killick brothers. How is the racing going in Germany? From probably a 10 scale, that's what you're more familiar with, to a 8 scale platform. I know Germany's a big country. So, yes. And it's split up into a lot of different north, south, east, west as well.
So I would say in 10 scale, it's ramping up quite a lot at the moment. Someone like Marcel Schneider, I don't know if you have heard of him.
No, I have not. Sorry.
He finished second after me at the German Nationals this year. He won a few years ago on a track he knew very well against Jorn as well. People like Elias Jordan, who is from my home club, he also finished on a podium in 4-wheel drive this year. So it's ramping up, and I think right now it's like 5 or 6 guys that have a lot of potential. And the nationals are well frequented as well. I mean, the 4-wheel drive.
How many do you guys get to a nationals? How many entries do you get to a nationals?
I think 4-wheel drive nationals was around 100 this year.
Okay.
But stock and not combined. But this is good. And I think there have been 2-wheel drive nationals where stock and mod combined was more than 100 in the more recent years. And then if you look at EOS Down and just see how many German guys compete there, it's really big. Our federation, though, doesn't have the same influence on the hobby as maybe BRCA has. So it's a bit more fragmented. So not everyone who is quick does the nationals, actually.
Gotcha.
No, but it's getting good. And I think if you look at it right now, you have Micha Wittmeier, who is running on the Austrian flag, but he was born 20 minutes from where I am from. So I know him a long time. He finished on the podium now in 4-wheel with our S-Works car. So that's with our electronics as well. So that's been really good. Jorn is still top notch, as I said. I really, really do hope he can have an international standout event again, where people see again.
Jana or Yuna? Jana?
Jorn Neumann. Jorn.
Oh, Jorn. Sorry.
Yeah. Then Burak and Berkan. You have Aaron Rönnig in 8 scale, who is good again.
He's good too.
I mean, he won the nationals. He studies as I do, so he's a bit more limited in the racing he does, but we can see where he gets. I would also say that from my own view, I think I can also improve a lot and get into the fight for the European stuff. And there's a lot of up and coming talent in the region where I'm from, around Stuttgart. There's really a lot of good guys there, a lot of good or well-run clubs like Köngen, where I'm from. There's a lot of people getting into it now. There's a permanent carpet track which has a big following, and all of it is coming. And I think it will ramp up, and I think it will ramp up everywhere. So if we can keep it accessible for people, then I think with the way everything goes, it will be quite good.
Okay. Sounds like
and
it's in a
touring
healthy...
car, I should mention as a German, because Mark Reinhardt, Ronald Völker, Lauternau, Yannick Brümper, Krapp, you can go on forever. Dominik Greiner, in Toni
Maximum bullshit.
Gruber. Yes, so you have so many good on-road guys, who probably, I forgot 5. So on-road is a big thing in Germany, much bigger than it is, for example, in the States. But I think from what I see, it's also getting bigger there again. So I think at the moment, the situation for the hobby looks really good because it's getting accessible, cars improve. So I hope it stays like this.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Germany produced so much good on-road racers. And after you just named off those guys, must be something there in Germany that produces good on-road racers. All right. As a young racer looking at the RC industry, I like to get you guys feedback on this. What would you like to see change in our industry? What do you think needs to change? How do we do it?
So I think what is important is that people like you make it visible to the public. So people need to know that RC racing exists, what it is about, and how to get into it. And I think this is actually the most important thing. I think that it would be cool to have a format that has more racing and not so much qualifying. Maybe something more like a relay race, but this is just not doable if you have many drivers. So I haven't seen a format that does it. RCGP tried, which I still think was a cool thing and could have and maybe should have worked out. So for me, it's mainly people need to understand what it is about, get into it, needs to stay accessible. And then I think it has a bright future ahead. And we need clubs that get people into racing, have the tracks where people can race at. AstroTurf and carpet is easy because of the tires, no sourcing, throw it on, go. They are quite long lasting. And I think if we can go to a system like the UK and have enough races so that it supports itself with the F ranking, someone running it as well as there, then I think the competition that it creates will also drive very good kids who then get amazing drivers out of it. But I don't see, for me, there's nothing crazy that needs to change. It's really good how it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with you on the point that a lot of people don't know what we're doing, right? And we need to figure out how to grasp attention. So we have the tools. We just need to start using them. Like social media is the biggest tool we can use. That's why we just got to keep throwing stuff up there till it sticks. Something's gonna stick, right? And I mean stick. I love having all these nice refueling videos. That's cool, but I want to at least give me a lap of a good race on one of these bigger. Give me a minute, yeah. I think we just need to keep pushing content out there in the algorithm. We think we're doing a good job. We think we're doing a lot, but we aren't. And on my side, seeing everybody doing different media outlets, different live streams, all that type of stuff, the amount of content that's being made. Obviously, there's a lot of content about bashing, but there needs to be more content about racing, right? So
yeah,
people know what we're doing.
When I explain to people what I do, because they ask, what do you do? Race RC cars, what is this? I always show them a video because this seems to portray the best what we do. Because if you show them a picture of the car, they will think it's a toy car and will not imagine what it does. And I think, as you say, social media is a big platform. But I also think that the tracks and the people at the track that actively engage kids in schools and stuff like this.
Yes.
As well. And I think if we can do both, then it has a good shot to help and grow RC, which I think is
many things
for all of them.
Many things we have to do. And one of them is having something that's, like we was talking earlier, a ready-to-run car that people can race. And it's a good price point. Cool.
super important. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Moritz, I want to appreciate you coming on. It was a very good chat. I enjoyed it, even into your deep science nerd delves of quantum computers and all that stuff. Man, if you and Max got together, I'd probably just go away and let you guys talk. But it was also great to meet you, Lasher. It's good to have you on her. Maybe we got to have you on her when Max is here, so you guys can geek right out and fix RC. You know,
would be interesting. I would also like to maybe, I don't know how involved JQ still is, but I would like to discuss some setup stuff with him. And I think it could be interesting if someone watches it. So I could do it on a personal level with him, but I think that would be interesting as well. So I think there could be some cool stuff we could do.
Yeah, maybe you get along
with him.
Yeah, maybe you get along with him because you're gonna have an engineer brain, and you'll understand how he kind of functions. I think the best time to ask him questions is in this setting, like where he's recording or live. So good stuff. Maybe you'll work it out. I'm just trying to get him to come on the podcast once in a while. Once in a while. That's all I have him on, once in a while. When he's in a good mood. When he's in a bad mood, it's just the same kind of soapbox. But yeah, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. Obviously, I've seen your dad. Tell him I say hello. I look forward to what LRP has in the future. I look forward to seeing what you do in the future. Good luck in your goals in racing. Good luck in your goals in the physics industry. And whatever you do with LRP, man. It was a great chat with you.
Final thing I wanted to show you.
Oh, what do we have here?
Not sure if you can read it. You see the sticker?
I can't see it. I don't see it.
Electric is the glory.
I need to get a low. No, it's not. It's not. You know, it definitely pays the bills, but let's not get carried away, Moritz. Nitro isn't dead yet. But thank you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything, the support, and I'll be probably gonna have to have you on her again because I really enjoyed this chat with you. I'm sure Max will enjoy it as well. Sure he would. Cool. And also, if anybody wants to get LRP products, let them know how, where, what they need to do. So,
LRP.cc. Especially for batteries, we have our interactive search. You enter what class you run, what surface you run, and it will show you the right battery for you. If that's not enough, send me a PM on Facebook. I have recently made a new Instagram, Moritz.Lautenbach RC. Message me there. And generally just interact with Jurgen if you want, with me if you have questions. And on the website, you can see what we do. And we are at most big races. If you want to try our stuff, if you want to ask questions about it, get to know what we do, come over and talk to us. We're more than happy to help everyone.
Awesome. Check them out. Moritz Lautenbach on Facebook. Moritz, thank you for your time. It was a good chat.
Thank you, Kenan.
Thank you, Moritz, for your time. Once again, I apologize for taking so long. Like I said, I know you switched teams. You're now driving X-Ray and everything now. Good luck with that. We're going to have you back on her to talk about what maybe LRP has going on for the future. And keep doing all the good work, man. You're passionate about RC. You're passionate about your racing, and you're passionate about your father's business. I hope you guys did enjoy this podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying the more short-form content. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. We can't do this without any of you guys, the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you once again for that support. Don't forget, if somebody hasn't heard about the NNRC, send them over to them. Send them a link. Say, hey, come listen to these guys. You got over 300 episodes to listen to and counting, both audio and on the YouTube. We have so much content on the YouTube from our trips and interviews and stuff. I don't think it would take you a long time to consume every single bit of content that we have. So we greatly appreciate all you guys' support. A big shout out to the patrons and the YouTube members of the NNRC as well. And of course, we have links in the written description for all of these companies and for the YouTube membership and Patreon. A big shout out to J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Hot Race Tires, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, and Get Shit Done Coffee. Check out all those companies. You have some other affiliate companies in there where you can save some money as well. Thank you all. Thank you, Moritz, for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Lefty is out. See you all later for the next one.